good week thus far. The guys enjoy. Sunday, the only thing we had was a lift. They had Monday off like we normally do. Practiced yesterday. Held a bunch of guys out of practice. Just dinged up, nicks and bumps here. A lot of guys that are, we've got a lot of guys play a lot of snaps, so guys that we felt like are on pace for close to 1,000 snaps. Didn't practice yesterday, scrimmaged a lot of the young guys at the end of practice. A lot of those guys came, the guys I was referring to came back today, worked. Vets had about a 12-period practice, and we scrimmaged the young guys again. They'll have tomorrow off, and then a lift Friday, and then about a 45-minute heavy special teams emphasis practice on Friday with Coach Wareheim on offense and special teams, and Coach Niver will be here. The rest of the crew of coaches will either be leaving tonight or tomorrow morning to be on the road Thursday and Friday. Questions?
One guy you hadn't talked about in a while is Jordan Whittington. How's he coming along?
On pace right now. I think we're targeting, best case scenario would probably be the week after West Virginia.
Okay. To just be clear,
worst case scenario would be a week or two after that. But he has not had any setbacks. Everything has been going pretty good. Iowa football notepad, huh?
It was free.
That's your guys' favorite word, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Whoever it was for didn't win the award either.
Coach, when you come with receivers, you've played without Colin Johnson, you've had Alvante, you've had Brennan, had the Scope, and of course Joshua Moore, but you guys haven't seemingly missed a beat. What can you just say about what that room has been able to do and accomplish?
Well, I felt like that was a deep room. That and the safety is probably the deepest, from top to bottom in terms of game-ready individuals. And so, you never want to be without Colin Johnson, a potential first or second round pick. But I think that, and a team captain, we miss his leadership as much as we do his play. But the guys have stepped in nicely. I've been proud of Malcolm Epps. Marcus Washington has gotten some meaningful reps. John Burt has stepped up nicely, and then obviously Devin and Jake continue to do what they do, and so we're better when Colin plays, certainly, but proud of the guys for, like you said, not missing that much of a beat.
How's he trending as far as his injury is concerned?
Good. Yeah. Had the minute we got the MRI and it showed I think it was a grade 1, grade 2 strain to the hamstring. He had a PRP injection. Those take a little while, but from what I've been told, it helps for the long-term healing. Hopefully when he does come back, this won't be something he's dealing with for the rest of the season. So, again with him, I think pie in the sky would be the West Virginia game, but we're not holding our breath, and that's okay. We want to make sure that when we put him out there that he's good to go for the rest of the season.
Tom, Devin was talking after the game about on the bubble screen and the perimeter stuff. You guys tell him that's almost like a long handoff to think of it. And tell him, why is he so effective in that play? And what is it that makes a good perimeter screen game?
Well, he's really good at running through arm tackles. Those are really long blocks for those guys to hold out there. So by the time he gets there, those guys are usually kind of, I don't want to say losing their guy, but maybe on an edge on guys. And so and he sets those blocks up really well. And he doesn't get impatient when it's 4 and 5 yards. If we averaged 5 yards a run, we'd be ecstatic, and so every now and again he gets tackled for 5 and then the next one is 9, the next one is he breaks 2 tackles and it's 16, and so he's really patient. He sets those blocks up well, and he's just so strong,
Is it his skill set, or have you always viewed, I know Michael just talked about the air raid, kind of the perimeter scrimmage are an extension of the run game. Have you always viewed it like
Always, yeah. Again, it's just a credit to the offensive staff. We've got a different type of skill set there at H than we've had in the last couple years, and so we're going to play to his strengths, and that's certainly one of them.
Roshan's had an eventful last month or so, so running back. What have been the redshirt conversations been like over the last month or so with the injuries and running?
We hadn't had one prior to the first game, or since the first game, and then we had one yesterday. And I said, "Hey, kid, this is your decision. This is your career." But we're at that point where we've got to make a decision. And he said, "Am I still going to be able to help the team?" I said, "Absolutely." And he said, "Then we'll worry about all that stuff after the season." So we're planning on playing him for the rest of the season.
Outside running back, right?
Correct. Yeah.
How do those conversations go? Because I know a lot of guys across the country entering the transfer portal with 4 games now done. How do the conversations, whether it's a freshman or a veteran guy, if they've still got the red shirt to use, have you had those types of conversations about?
Haven't had any. No. We've had one guy put his name in the portal, but other than that, everybody that you see playing is going to play. We played guys like Braden Liebrock and Kennedy Lewis in the Rice game just to get their feet wet, but those are guys that we anticipate redshirting. But if they played, I don't want to stick my foot in my mouth, but if I'm not mistaken, if they had played in 3 or 4 of these games, you're probably going to see them the rest of the year.
Is it safe to say then that those decisions are decisions you guys make before the season, and barring like injuries or something like that, there really are no surprises once you get into?
Yeah, probably. I mean, a couple weeks into training camp, I think you've got a pretty good idea of not just where your needs are from some of those young guys, but also, what the personality of the young man. Some guys they just want to coach. I don't care if it's special teams. 10 plays a game. I want to play. Okay, great. We'll go and earn your spot on special teams. And some guys, say, hey, if it's just 5 or 8 plays, running down on kickoff, I'd rather save the year. Okay, and we usually try to be as accommodating as we can to their wishes. But ultimately, everybody's bought in that, just like Roshan, the team comes first, and if the team needs you, we're going to play you.
Wanted to ask about Osai.
Plays really hard.
Yeah. Well, I want to ask you about that. What would you first make of when you learned his story? And here's a guy who didn't even know what football was, when he came here, to this country, right? And to grow into what he has. What do you think of that?
Well, he's got great parents. He's got a great family, and they have instilled a work ethic in him that is rare, and his competitiveness at times to his detriment. He's his own biggest critic, and so we've really worked really hard. Coach Orlando's got a great relationship with him and has worked really hard of being able to learn from mistakes and move on, and I've seen Joe mature immensely in that area. But yeah, it's a great story. Great high school program in Oak Ridge, and when we got to know him in high school, the way that he is now is not a surprise.
Right.
I mean, we kind of knew what we were getting when we recruited him.
I mean, he as I remember his recruiting process, right? I mean, people were pushing him to go to A&M because that's just kind of what in that area you do.
Who were the people?
Well, I just read recruiting stories.
Oh.
So I understand.
I don't.
No, I know, but just the fact that he always told the recruiting story folks that I've got an open mind and keep everything on the table, and just he wasn't.
Yeah, he didn't grow up wearing Longhorn pajamas. Or
yeah.
any schools.
Any pajamas.
Well, I hope he wore some pajamas.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
But no, he that one was truly, our staff and Coach Orlando and our recruiting staff, having to really show Joe, how this not only program and fit defensively, but this university and our family was the right fit for him. And I think he'd be the first to tell you that he's ecstatic that he made the decision that he made.
How much West Virginia prep will you guys do during the bye week?
Just today we had 20 minutes. We won't do anything Friday, and then Sunday will be unique because we don't normally. Our Sunday practices, it's corrections from the game, and it's kind of your, I know the defense goes over their field goal blocks and their punt safe, and it's just the stuff that you review every week because you just haven't had time to watch the opponent. But we've got a semblance of a first down game plan right now. So Sunday we'll get a lot more. We'll probably get about 30 to 40 minutes. So we'll try to stay ahead, and that way we can cut back on practice a little bit throughout the week so that we can make sure we're at our freshest on Saturday.
Time for two last ones. How's DeGabriel Floyd doing, and kind of what is your plan for him as he goes through this season?
He's doing great. He's at practice every day. He's a full participant with our team. He's a great coach on the field, for the guys. He's very intense. He loves football. But the medical plan hasn't changed. I mean, we'll evaluate him in January when he comes back for the spring semester and see if anything has changed.
How unique is it, though, with a guy that suddenly has football taken away from him? I don't know if you might worry about how he reacted, because it seems like he's engaged. I don't know.
He's very engaged. Yeah, we did worry, and I mean those are some difficult conversations, but it's why you get into this business, is to help young men through times like this. And he's got a great support system here in Austin with Tony and Gene, and obviously he's got a great relationship with Coach Orlando and Coach McKnight, myself, and so it's just constant counsel, I guess, is probably the best word.
Real quick, go back to Joe real quick. When I think of Joe, Keandre, Jake, Smith, these guys are like next level thinkers, and I wondered, are y'all looking for that in the recruiting process? Guys that show you that they're really bright.
Yes, yeah. I don't. It's again, I feel bad because I feel like I stole the phrase, but it's so apropos for the way that we handle recruiting. They've got to be our kind of guy, and that and I learned that from studying the way Chris Peterson goes about his business at Washington, because this program's not for everybody, and that's okay. But if we're diligent enough in recruiting, there should be 20 to 25 guys that you feel like you can win championships with every year that are that kind of our kind of guy when it comes to and not just intelligent, but work ethic and character and all of those things.